So this is one of the awesome racks I set up recently. Well, the rack's been set up for ages, but I'm switching it around and doing something really cool. This is my Neocaridina shrimp playground, and I set this one up because I wanted to create something that enabled me to breed the shrimp, was simple, looked good. I've always had quite good success with the Neocaridinas, but not great success, and that's because I've never done like a fully dedicated like tank to monitor it and see what I was doing wrong before. But now they're flying along. I've even got babies down here as well. I don't know if I'm going to be able to pick it up, but on the whiteness there, those little mineral rocks, there's actually loads of little shrimplets, and there's blues. There's little tiny blues in there. Oh, I'm so excited. And then next to it, we've also got that Axelrod Respora aquarium. That's just doing great. No filter in this one, just the plants, but it's, you know, it's been set up now for over a week, and it's doing like awesome. So that row there is doing great, but what about the top? Okay, nothing in that one, nothing in that one, nothing in that one. All of them have got to come down. Down here is home to one of my better fish, who is doing absolutely great. You gonna come forward? Tap, tap, tap. Come on, come say hello. There he is. So this is a, well, it's a bit of a funny story. He used to be a Hellboy better. He had full red face, but as fish, sort of better fish, get older, their colours change. Now he looks like this with these awesome lips on him, but he's still a stunning fish nonetheless. So yeah, I'm going to take down this whole top row. I'm not really doing anything with them. It's not fun. I've sort of set myself a goal of, in my studios, having just fun tanks, ones I enjoy. If I don't enjoy them, they're going. But where are we going to put them? Well, recently I set up this Cory only tank. So it's got Corys in here. Let me guess, they're hiding because I've just come in the room. Come on, everyone. Come on out. Yeah, anyway, beneath it is a gap, so I can put two. There's 60 centimeters across that gap, 30 centimeters per cube, so two of those can fit down there. So that's a good place for two of them. The other two, well, I'm going to be putting another one of these tanks in the top row. That's what we're going to be doing today, scaping. More on that in a minute, and that can come up here. So yeah, we've got loads of room. Yeah, that all looks horrible, so let's tidy it up. Wall as well. Oh no, I've done that thing again. Always paint white first, then black. There we go, that is looking fresh. Now, what tank are we going to use? Well, I love the look of this tank. I love the size, dimensions. As a shrimp tank, I think it works so well. So why not, like, for symmetry, do one that side? Now, out here, my storage tank area, look, I've got the same tank here. I've recently broke it down because it wasn't doing anything. It was just sat there with some plants that, yeah, it didn't even have a filter. Not that it needs a filter, but yeah, anyway. So we've got some aquasoil already in there, which I'll take out. I'll give the tank a clean down, take that black background off as well, because I love the look that this tank has given us, where you can see all the way through it, and I want the same up there. There we go, I've got two that, well, you can see, I mean, they fit really nicely. It's a shame that one isn't quite as tall, but it's okay, it's just minor details, isn't it? But it's going to look really good, isn't it? So we've got the same size there, a cube, and then, I don't know what this is, what, 45 centimetres, 35, I don't even know. This is 60 centimetres, so 2 foot by 1 foot by 1 foot, so yeah, like the perfect dimensions really, isn't it? So what I want to do with this tank is create a forest style tank. Now, not your traditional style where it's like tons of like greenery and plants and that kind of thing. I mean, there'll be a lot of plants, it's me, don't get me wrong. But this is still going to be a shrimp tank, so I still want to be able to see the shrimp. But I'm not so focused on like the numbers like this one. So it's somewhere in the middle, like half breeding tank, half Aquascape, I guess. So usually with my builds, I start with the substrate system. I mean, I did on that one there, I did on this tank, I did on this, you know, that's what I usually do. But in this one, I'm gonna get some hardscape in first, just because it's not as tall as my usual tanks, and I'm worried that like if I get a substrate system in, all the hardscape's going to be like not where I want it to be. So yeah, I've got some cool pieces of bogwood I want to place in and around. I'm not sure what I'm doing yet, but we'll see as we go. So over here is what we're going to be putting in the tank. No, not the Harlequin Rasboras. In here we have got about 10, I think there was, of the yellow cherry shrimp, the Neocaridina obviously, and one of them was buried. Has it laid its babies? No, that one at the back there. Oh, it just run off. There's one right at the back there that's buried that it won't focus on. Of course it won't. Anyway, so that'll be cool to put those in. And then on the other side, in this one, we have got red rally shrimp. Well, now we're not going to be able to pick them up, are we? Can we see any? Well, there's no need to. Well, you'll see them all when they're in the tank later. But yeah, red rallies, they're going to be awesome as well. Now, I know lots of people don't like mixing shrimp species, but it's not something that bothers me. So don't flood the comment section with, if you mix them, you'll get brown ones. It's fine. I like brown ones as well. I like all of the colours. I like seeing what pops up, you know. So like if you put something random, like a red rally, and then a yellow, and then seeing if that sort of crosses over. I don't know. It's just going to be fun to watch, right? Yeah, I think that's very cool. It's just like a big open space in the foreground, but loads of sort of imposing wood. And that wood is really giving us a forestry sort of sense. Maybe not now, but it won't be long. Trust me. Right, foreground, I want to get that aqua soil in. Not going to be deep at the front, I'm going to keep it shallow, just like we've got down in that one. But I'm going to start banking it as we go to the back, because I need soil to be able to plant into. Right, at the moment, we are looking pretty awful. Just be patient, it's all going to come together, I promise. So you may have noticed there was even less thought than usual into the placement of the bogwood. That's deliberate. I want to keep this one like sort of full and natural. Not think about anything too much. Even the plant placement, I'm just going to start sort of chucking them in. The leaf litter, yes, leaf litter as well. I want it to look like a forest floor. Should be good. So I like how that's turned out so far, but the problem is I've had these pieces of wood out of water for a very long time, and I'm almost certain they'll just float. So I actually wanted to place in some pebbles in here anyway, so I'm going to place the pebbles up close to the wood. I've got an idea for them later on, but to start with, I'm going to use those as the anchors to sort of weigh them down. I might need a few on that piece because it's a bit of a beast. But yeah, little round river pebbles should look good. And then one little cute one for details. Ah, I need one in that middle as well, yeah, definitely. Need one in that gap, then I can lock that one to that one. It shouldn't move. I'm still worried about that one, but we'll see how it goes. Awesome, and then as always, lock it all down with cyanoacrylate super glue gel. There we go, that stuff. So everything is now firmly locked down and we can start the planting process. I'm going to go with like real basic plants, not many fast growers. If I do, they'll just be small sections so they're easy to trim. I don't want them overtaking the whole tank. So first of all, to set the tone, I'm going to go with some crypts in these sort of tight little areas next to the wood. I think that'll look good. So we've got our plants. Now these are Tropica plants. They're absolutely brilliant. We've got Cryptocorini parva. It's like a really tiny one. It's such a cute little plant. Takes forever to carpet or anything like that. So don't expect it to cover your whole, you know, substrate in no time at all. But it is really, really good for little details, especially in smaller tanks. Then I've got another bigger one. Just it looks like a bigger version of the parva, but it's Willisi. And as always, really easy just to take these out. You're just gonna crypts actually come out of this rock wall so easy. Look at that, one side done. Bring it around, be gentle. I like to try and keep them together at this stage. Then just either run a fork, or I forgot to get one, so I'm just using my tweezers. Take off that rock wall. It's very nutrient dense, this stuff is, so you don't want that going in your tank. You want as little as possible. There we go, and we can split it up, look, into several pieces as well. I want a few bigger chunks, so I'm going with those 3. Right, I feel like that looks pretty good, so we've dotted it around in the foreground areas, and I feel like this area here is calling out for the Willisi, the bigger version of that. It just, I don't know, fill that space quite nicely. Oh, there we go, loving that. So it's starting to come to life, isn't it? Now we want more taller plants in this area back here. I'm going to be putting the filter this side. Nice little internal filter, should blow quite nicely. I'll keep it turned quite down low because it's only a small tank, shrimp as well. We don't want it stuff blowing around everywhere. In fact, I'll put that in now so we know where to scape around. So I'm currently just cleaning out a filter that was in another tank. That's all the grime that's come out of the sponge. I've not over cleaned it, and that's tank water, which means put this in the shrimp tank. It's a nice little filter, it's got a little trickle thing for the top as well. And that means it's instantly cycled. We can like put shrimp in straight away. We could anyway, because I've got like stuff we can use, but it just means we're like even more chance of success with a filter or a sponge at least that's been used already. I'll still be adding things like beneficial bacteria and doing some initial water testing and changes if needed, but it's a good start, really, really good start. Okay, we're doing sweet. Now next up, I want to take some of these merino, I don't know, moss balls, and all you got to do, split them, look, and you can open them right up. Now I want to pull them open so they make sort of like a, I don't know, like a cone, like a flat cone. That's not a cone then, is it? Like that, look. So I've made them really big, and I want to put them on top of the rocks there, well some of them anyway, and then some in the little areas that need covering up from the glue. Like that bit there, look, that's pretty ugly, isn't it? So if we cover that up, it'll look pretty good. Just got to stick it down with some more of the super glue. Look at that. Looks brilliant, doesn't it? There we go, we're looking good. Right, now this moss ball method can be brilliant for like setups where you don't want to do loads of trimming, because down here where I've got all the mosses, they're already growing massive. Now the moss, it's not actually moss, it's a form of algae, but it stays contained, and it doesn't grow fast. Like they will get bigger, and you don't really need to trim them, to be honest. They just go in these balls when they're free floating. When they attach to stuff, they actually spread, but not fast at all. So like they're a really good thing to have for a low maintenance tank. But anyway, we need more and more plants. Surely we need more plants, right? Back corner here, I want to hide that filter, so we can be putting some stems in there. And I've got this beautiful bacoba here. Look at that. It's got like pinky hues to it. Green at the bottom where there was less light, so I'll take some trimmings of it because it's really long. I don't need that whole amount. I'll just like cut it somewhere like down there, and we can replant it all. Right, here it all. Move my McDonald's latte. I don't actually like McDonald's very much at all. Quite like a breakfast, but I love the latte. I think, is it latte or latte? I don't care. Anyway, it's great. So I don't know if you've ever smelt bacopa, but oh my goodness, it smells like basil or thyme or something like that. I'm not even sure on the exact smell, but it smells like something you could definitely eat with. Right, so there is quite a lot in that back corner there, and it looks pretty naff at the moment when it all stands up and the top sort of parts kind of loop over in the flow. I've kept it so it's just shorter than the height of that spray bar, So it should just gently sort of flick against it. That should look good. We've got a nice pop of colour then in that corner. Now I've got to fill in this gap, I think. Just, well, not fill it in, but sort of stop that line. The line ruins things. So I'm going to put in some sage in that area, and that should look really good back there. Right, that is looking insane. I think we've got that sort of grassiness to the pathway. I still feel like we need something over this corner, and I want something that's very foresty-like. So, for instance, it doesn't get more foresty than this stuff. This is Myriophyllum matagrossens. Anyway, look at that. It's like little trees, isn't it? That would look great in that corner. Oh, there we go, it's really coming alive. I just need a few more plants for a bit more detail. And I want something that's kind of small and dainty, and I know just the plant. I am talking about, of course, Hydrocotyle Japan. We've got it growing really nicely here in the platy tank. When I set this up, I did put a light bar at the back, but it fell down because I stuck it against the... It wasn't against the glass, it was against the backgroundy filmy thing. So I need to pull this all out, cut a slice out so I can stick it again, but it still looks really good, doesn't it? But yeah, the Hydrocotyle Japan is growing really nicely, so it's actually getting too big at this point, so if I trim little sections of it, I can transfer it into the new tank. Oh, we're really spicing up now. So you're probably thinking, why is there that big gap in the middle section there? Well, that's where I want to put some catappa leaves. Thing is, if I just put them in like this now, they'll just float up to the top. So what I'm going to do is just glue a tiny little pebble to the underside of them, and they'll just stay exactly where I want them to, without having to boil them and do all that stuff, and they won't blow around then as well with the flow. They'll just stay in that nice front area and just be a good focal point. And then for the icing on the cake, I've got these elder cones. Now I can't stick them to anything, can I? So, well, I suppose I could stick to bits of wood. Now I'm just going to boil them and just put them into the water, and they'll just sit where they want to sit then. Should be done in about 4 hours. I've been waiting. Hey! I was going to say I've been waiting here for so long. Right. That was like 20 minutes. Not quite. Oh my goodness. There's still not... Oh, we're steamed. We're steamed. Okay, so a good 80% of them have sunk. There's just a few floating. Now, if you do this, you do remove like the best parts of it, the tannins, which is like the medicinal stuff, I guess. Anyway, I'm not interested in that because we've got other stuff for that in the tank. I just want them to sink and look pretty. I guess they kind of look like little rabbit poos around the forest floor. Right, it's looking sweet. It's now time to fill it up with water. So I know many people would have used that broth, the brown sort of broth that come from the elder cones, to like tan the water, but that's not what I'm about in this one. Okay, I'd say that's a pretty successful first filling uppy jobby. We've got a couple of little floating poops. We've got a bit of the aquasaurs left, some scum marks. I'm just gonna get a filter started, let it do its thing, and then I can adapt and change anything I need to, plant more. I don't think I need to plant any more, I think that looks great. But yeah, let's just get it super clear. So we've got really good flow. It's like got that circular motion, that's exactly what we want. I suppose I was foolish to think that the poo would stay where we wanted it to. That's alright, it'll settle where it needs to settle. These are floating because they've got air bubbles on them from the oxygen in the water. They'll clear in no time and they'll just sink where they want to sink. One thing I do want to do though is take some of those mineral stones and put them up in that gap. And now we give that overnight, come back in the morning, and it's going to be perfectly clear. Please be perfectly clear. I know it will. So it's now the next day. The tank had cleared up like 80% by the time I got in this morning, and we've just done a little bit of a water change. A little bit of bubbles in the water, but it's looking good. Yeah, look at that. I think it looks really good. Just the look I was going for. Don't want to overcomplicate it, remember, but I still want it to look kind of like something, like some kind of theme. I feel like this corner here needs a little bit more impact, so I'm going to add a few more brighter stems. I'm going to put some Rotala macrandra and Rotala HR in there, just to give a more of a red pop in that corner. And also we need something in this corner. I deliberately didn't plant anything because that's where I know the floating plants are going to sort of sit, so that'll be really good. We're going to use the mini water lettuce again, and those roots that taper down, just add quite a lot to that corner. It'll look really nice. It's now been plenty of time, the water's gone crystal clear. Let's do a little review, see where we're at. Here we go, look at that. Looks cool, I like it. So part of me, like the aquascaper in me, wants to fill in the blank bits on the aquasoil, wants me to put more moss on the wood, that sort of thing, fill out that backer. But I need to step back and not touch it anymore, because the point of this was to be somewhere in between an aquascape and a functional shrimp breeding tank, you know? And I think right now we're achieving that. If I was to put any more in, I mean, that's borderline too much anyway, but it looks so good, right? But if I was to put any more in the foreground and start putting stuff all up, yeah, it's gonna lose what we're trying to do with this tank. Anyway, the water is now looking perfect. The tank's ready to go. Let's put the shrimp in. I'm really keen to see where they go, if they hide. Like the ones down the bottom don't hide, so hopefully these ones won't either. I think I'm just gonna add them in with this water. I'll take out this plant, make sure none are on it. Dip, 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 dip. Last one, there we go. Oh, look at that beauty. Yay, what should I do with this? In the storage tank, and the same for you guys. Dip, 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 dip. Looks like everything's off. In the storage tank. Okay, this one's got a moss ball in it as well, but might as well keep that in. Right, I'm going to pour off most of the water in the storage tank. Don't jump out, don't jump out, don't jump out. It's quite good actually, because shrimp tend to just sit at the bottom when you do this. There we go, perfect. Right, so I've transferred them all over to this little pot thing just because that jug won't fit under the rim there. I haven't thought of this very well, have I? Anyway, we've got a great little starting number there. I think there's about 15 shrimp in total, so let's just put them in. Okay, they're in. Right, we're in the foreground. Look how bright and vibrant the yellows look. Amazing, don't they? Little red rally there as well. See, I think it's really good to have the mix, because if you just got one shrimp in a tank, if you're breeding, like specifically for selling, it makes sense. But why not mix it up like I have here? Oh yeah, I've also put in a load of ram's horn snails as well. They're an absolute must in my opinion. They work so well in a shrimp tank because they pick up any of the waste that's dotted around as well. And also they're just good for overall cleaning planted tanks in general. So look here, look, there's that buried female. So we've got a load of eggs there. Straight away we're going to be off to a great start, aren't we, because of that. And then there's a two saddled females there, look. So when I say saddled, hang on, there we go, get the focusing right. So when I say saddled, I mean, see that little yellow bit on the back? That's sort of where the pre-eggs are stored. I guess unfertilized eggs, that sort of thing. And then the males will come fertilize them, and obviously they'll drop underneath the shrimp. I was going to say the fish then. This girl down here, look, straight onto the mineral rocks. So the mineral rocks provide like a hardness to the water, and that's what the shrimp need to molt. So when they grow, their shell breaks off, and underneath is their new form. They just get bigger like that. Oh, look at this one. This is my home now. It's like it's tucked up in bed. Oh, I'm safe here. Yes, you are. You are safe. And there's just random cone just floating around the tank as well. Come on, sink. Why is that one still floating? Oh, I have to say though, really, really pleased with how this one's turned out, and I think I've definitely achieved the look I wanted to go for. It will grow in a little bit more. Hopefully then we'll have even more shrimp numbers as well, so it won't matter that there's more dense foliage. And this Hydrocotyl Japan is going to spread like wildfire. I'm going to keep it low though, so it looks like little mini clovers all over the whole tank. Oh, I cannot wait for that. But MD, what about feeding, I hear you say? Have no fear. I have this tubey thing with an unnecessary amount of like packaging all on it. I can't even get it. There we go. Okay, basically it's this. Yeah, so it's this tube here that my snails are now climbing up again. It's all right, they seem to go up there, hit the water's top, and then come back down. So I've not experienced any actually climb out, although I did think that happened in a previous vlog, but that's not important. So why do we need this little thing? Well, I'm not sure we actually need it, but what it does do is a place for the food to go every time. And I swear, like, this could be absolutely rubbish, but I swear the shrimp know. Like, when they sense food, they know where to go. So I've got that one there on a tube that sits in there, and then I've got a bowl here that I use, this little pipey thing that I just slide and place in because I was too cheap to buy 2 of these. Now the reason I got 2 anyway is because there's quite a lot of snails, there's quite a lot of shrimp, so I like to sort of spread it out so that they've got 2 areas to go to. This one is not quite so densely populated, so I've just got the pipe. Now this pipe is a shorter one than that one because I did initially buy it ready for this one. I'm just going to put it in for now. I might swap it over and buy a bigger one for here because that is really the right size, because this one, look, it's not very big. But it will sit nicely in here when I come to use that one. But we'll just use it for now. Right, there we go. It's sitting nicely. It's above, you know, it's not supposed to sit there. Or maybe it is. I don't know. Maybe this means that the shrimp can get to it way before the snails do. We'll see. I'm going to put some food in now. Put a little time lapse on. Let's see how many shrimp come over and start grazing. Okay, some decent amount of time has passed, and I think one went on there and come off again. This further illustrates my point. I mean, quite a few of them are moving around. They know something's there. But when I did that, when I put the food in that pipe, I also did the same on the tank below. And look, they all knew where to go. Look at this lot. Exactly the same time. So this is what I'm saying. I swear the shrimp learn, which shows another level of intelligence really, doesn't it? They learn where to go for their food every time they sense it in the tank. These guys at the moment haven't got a clue that food is there. I guess the idea would be is to leave it there until it's consumed. The snails will definitely find it. If it's there for too long, I'll just take it out with a pipette. But they're gonna learn. Like, that's exactly what these guys did. If I remember, the first few times I put the food in, none of it got eaten, or a very, very small amount anyway. So why am I mentioning the feeding tube? Well, I'm kind of taking as a given that some of you will watch this and be like, oh, I want to do a shrimp tank, because that's what I did in the past. I watched some videos, I was like, I'm getting those, they look cool. I know they're not for everyone, but these weird little creatures really do capture me. I don't know why. Now, when you start off with this, there's not massive amounts of info on feeding. There's like, people say feed light or feed heavy. What you're seeing me feeding there is like enough for like 20 shrimp for the whole day. It's probably overkill, but I deliberately did a little bit more on that top one just because I wanted to try and entice them in because it'd make a good clip. They still didn't come. But yeah, look at that. I mean, that is such a tiny amount. It's about the size of half a shrimp, that there, the actual piece. And they're tiny thin little ones as well. If you've got a more dense sort of food, then it'd probably be even less in size. Look at those beautiful little shrimp behind there. The buried one's still down the bottom here. Yeah, so make sure you're not feeding heavy. It's not like feeding fish. You don't just start sprinkling tons in. Now, I've also used catfish pellets as well. Like 1 or 2 in there would be fine. Just leave them. They'll all fight amongst it themselves. Bits will break off, go in the water column, settle on things. They're constantly foraging around for it. So don't worry, they'll always have some kind of food source. Like, even if you're not feeding them, they'll still graze everywhere. But if you really want them to breed, like if you want to have a tank full, you do need to manually feed them once a day. Really, really does spur on the protein in there and everything like that. Plus combine that with the mineral rocks. I'll put links for everything, by the way, guys, that I can anyway, below. And you should be onto a winner. With Neocaridinas, that is. I pretty much think it's the same for Caridinas, it's just that you've got to be more specific with your water parameters if you want to get really good breeding and that kind of thing. But with the Neos, I think most shrimp keepers will tell you they'll be absolutely fine in pretty much any tap water.